All right, sports fans, welcome out to another episode of the Gridiron 64 podcast. It's Monday evening. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit, so I'm going to try to get through this as quick as possible and then pass it over to Big T, and he's going to lead us. But we do have another guest, another coach that I'll be introducing here shortly. But I do want to introduce my crew. Once again, we are in full effect. We've got the Big T, Tony Pena. T, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Ready to get it going.
All right, and then we've got the coach, guy that knows it all here on the podcast, Steve Cantu. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, blessed, brother. I'm happy to be here.
And then we got the main man, the Z-Man, Johnny Zavala. He's the one that takes care of all the other stuff. How you doing, Z-Man?
Doing good.
And then I'm your host, Gabriel Trevino. And like I said, we're back. This is going to be episode number 7, part 1 of the interview. We do got another coach. I'd like to welcome to the Gridiron West Oso Bears head football coach, Brad Smithey. Brad, how you doing?
And I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, Coach, thank you for taking some time. I know, and we're going to get into it a little bit on the podcast, but I know you got a big game this Friday, and we're going to definitely talk about that. So I just want to thank you for, spending some time with us here. I know you're real busy this week, and we're going to try to get you out here as soon as we can. So I'm going to pass it over to Tony, and he's going to lead us in this podcast.
All right, Coach. Again, I know Gabriel already welcomed you on here, but I just want to take the time to welcome you and thank you for spending some time with us. I know, like he said, I got practice. I got a really big game this week against Ingleside. So we're going to get this going really fast. We got a few questions to ask you, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Johnny first. Johnny?
Welcome aboard, Coach. My first question is, what brought you to be the head coach for the West Oso Bears? What brought you over to that school?
There's always kind of a dream and a goal of mine to be a head coach. I grew up in a coaching family, and actually went to Rockport years ago and got enough of West Oso through basketball. And when I did a stint out at Brazosport for 3 years, I kind of grew a love for these type of schools, lower socioeconomic type schools, because I realized the impact that you could have on that type of community. So when West Oso came open, I was at Victoria West. I did a lot of talking with my fiance at the time, if this was right or not. And it was one of those things where I felt like, God called me to be here. It definitely has been a blessing. I've got to, work with a bunch of really good kids who, I've had a chance to try to make an impact on, but, they also make an impact on me as well, and really kind of help me grow as a person and as a coach, because, sometimes we think we have it bad or have it rough, and seeing what some of these guys go through on a daily basis and what they do to get here and get up to workouts and practice, and then what they have to do when they go home, man, it's just incredible. So, those are kind of some of the smaller things that really drove me to be here, because of the impact you can have.
Yeah, I think it's showing, even though your record's not there, but it's showing, how competitive the team is getting now, so you're definitely having an impact on the team by far. I'm pretty sure everybody there, is really like happy for you to be there. It's like it takes somebody like you to bring up a program like that. So it's pretty good. They're happy that you're there. What high school and college did you go to?
I actually finished up at Dallas Christian High School. I was a coach's kid, so I moved around a lot. Like I said, I started at Rockport, then I went to Mesquite High up in Mesquite, and then finished at Dallas Christian. And then from there, I went and played college ball at Southwestern Oklahoma State University.
Nice. Came back to South Texas.
Yeah.
So, give us a little history. What was the last time West Oso made the playoffs, and how did they do then?
In 2019, they went 4-7, kind of the same makeup as this year. It kind of started out rough, but won out in the last game. I believe it was against Ingleside to make the playoffs, and they lost the first round against Raymondville.
I tell you what, Coach, you're right there. I mean, you're right there. You're right there in that 4th spot, man. This week could be that little number 3 spot right there, man, taking over Ingleside, So this is a huge game for y'all. So good luck to y'all, man. And I might have something else coming up here in a little while too. That's all I got, Tony.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Hey Tony. Can I just ask Coach something? Something just popped into my head. Coach, this is your second year at West Oso, correct?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you before the guys go on with some of their other questions about the game. Last year, if you could talk a little bit about, because I follow you on Twitter, and I was really impressed. I told the guys, what you had been doing in West Oso. I had been, watching, just kind of going over who Brad Smithey was in West Oso, because I knew when Coach Wahardo was there, these guys were up in the third round with Rockport. They had to play Cuero, and Cuero ended up winning the state title, I think, that year. But I watched that team grow. So there's a lot of good athletes out there every year. So I was watching to see what the new coach was coming, but you got hit with COVID your first year, which was really tough. And I felt like, when West Oso didn't make it, coming off of where they were going, I felt that COVID was a big reason. You really couldn't put your system in place because the off season and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about, that first year there, and how you struggled to get the system, and simply because of the COVID and what you had to go through in your first year at West Oso?
I mean, I was already a late hire. I got hired in late May. So when I got here, COVID was already in full effect. And then we actually had a week of summer strength and conditioning, and we had 82 show up. And I was told that was the most that there's been. And, there's kind of some excitement. And then the second week comes around and we get shut down, and we get told that, hey, we're not going to even think about bringing it back till, the possible start of August, whatever, when you're supposed to start practice. And obviously that's tough because, you don't get a chance to prepare your bodies for a season. So we tried Zoom workouts. I led Zoom workouts. I was in a lot better shape then, I'll say that. But we actually had my first week of two-a-days or camp. I actually was in COVID protocol, and I kind of talked them into allowing me to coach from the press box. So the first full week of me being there as a new head coach, I didn't even get to be on the field or around my kids.
Wow.
And so it wasn't until week 2, our first scrimmage, that I truly got to be with my kids. And we were already short-staffed. So it was already a big task for our guys. We've never all worked together before, new faces. So it was tough to really get a grasp on what I was wanting and the culture and system that I was trying to build. And we were just felt like Pee Wee football at times, trying to piece people together. And, we just try to put together a game plan to go out and compete each week. And lost a lot of injuries by week 2. We had already lost 8 starters due to injuries. And,
Wow.
It really made for an uphill battle. But it led us to where we are now as far as the program. And I tell you what, I got a lot of really great kids that have bought in. They're 100% about the program. The numbers all the way through are up. It's really been a blessing, and it's been an experience. It wasn't easy by any means. I mean, there was times, you're sitting there and last fall, and you're banging your head against the window, and you're just like, I don't, what can we do? We're so limited and we're so, strapped down. And, but a lot of that experience has led me to where we are now, because I did get to learn a lot about the kids that I have, the staff I'm with, and, they were asked to do so much last year. And this year has been a lot different.
It has. All right. I just kind of wanted to get that question out to you before the guy would continue going with the questions. All right, team.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear what you're saying on that. I know we talked to Coach Troutman. We talked to Coach Cyber, we talked to a few other coaches, and they all said the same thing about not having that being able to have those 2 days or that summer workout, during COVID, and that's been the biggest difference this season, is being able to do that. So I definitely see where you're coming from with that one. So the next guy got coming with the questions. I got Coach Steve. Steve, what you got?
Hey, Coach. Hey, just touching on back on what Gabriel brought up. I could tell you from a bystander that's just out here watching you guys. I'm a big fan of Coastal Bend football, South Texas football, and when I see somebody and I recognize that they're doing a great job bringing up that program. I'm excited. It gets me excited. I was excited when Gabriel mentioned that he was trying to get you on. I think that you're doing great things out there with those West Oso boys. And you're right. It took that stuff. It took that trial, all those trials and tribulations to go through last year. That's helping your boys really perform on the field. And it brought them closer together. Although you're being, pulled apart, it still brought them closer together in a sense. And now the boys are just, they're just playing lights out. I mean, I understand that your record isn't, where you want it to be, but since the very beginning, I saw that you guys were playing competitive football. Y'all were scoring, y'all were playing great defense. And, that's just kind of falls back on you and your coaching staff on how great of a job that you guys are doing. So I just wanted to point that out that people see that. If I'm, down here at the bottom of the barrel, I'm just a youth coach, and I can see a program that's excelling that way with a young coach. And, it's just awesome to see it. And I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
So my first question I got here, Coach, is, you guys put together a pretty difficult preseason schedule. I thought it was difficult. I thought a lot of teams that you were playing were top of the line, you know what I'm saying? All division leaders in their district, in their whatever district they played in. So I thought that, the schedule that you set forward, kind of set the path on where you guys are going. You guys are playing competitively against great teams. So, I mean, how do you think the schedule that you set up will help your team, now that we're in the second week of district play?
I mean, obviously we would like to win some of those games, and we played well enough to win some, but it definitely has helped us in the sense that these guys have been battle tested. They've been in these tight games where things didn't go our way, where we didn't catch the breaks or whatever it may be. But we kind of appreciate these guys because when you're sitting at 0-4, the human in you is like, man, are we, actually good? Or are we not? And that's just questions, that starts getting brought up around. And I'm like, we got to understand, I think our opponent record after this week is like 18-5.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like, like you said, it's not like we're playing, anybody that's just, terrible or whatever. These have been really good and quality teams who, have chances to make runs in playoffs and for district titles and all. So, they've got to see a lot of physicality. And I think that's really helped our kids grow up because we have a lot of seniors, but necessarily not a lot of experience, if that makes sense. We were able to bring some guys that hadn't played football in a while back out, and it's really helped us. But, they had to grow up. I mean, even our quarterback, Anthony Pena, he got hurt in the second game last year. Besides those 2 games last year and the 4 he's played this year, the 5 he's played this year now, that's the only games he's had at it, at quarterback. So we're still really young as far as the team goes, even though we have the age and the grade level. But these guys are getting better week in and week out. It's definitely helped us. And when it gets to these tough games, these close ball games, I think now that we have got a win notched under our belt, man, I'll tell you what, it was so energetic, and the excitement at practice today was just, another level because they finally got that taste. Yeah. I mean, this group had never had a winning season. These seniors have never had a winning season since they've played football. So just teaching these guys how to win, the day in and day out, the operations of how to win, they're starting to see it to come to fruition now. And now that we got that first one, I hope that, they take a grasp and don't let go.
There you go. Well, yeah, no, I coach in youth again, like I said, and I've always told my boys, I mean, you got to learn how to lose, what I'm saying, before you know how to win. And I think you guys got that down, and y'all passed that, and y'all ready to. And I see you guys going on a roll here. I tell you, I've been. We did our predictions. I'm a brag on myself a little bit. They're gonna get mad and get real quiet right here. We did our predictions way before the season even started. And I put you in. I put West Oso in my playoffs. I said West Oso, and everybody got quiet. They thought that was a joke, but No, you great job, man. I think you're doing a great, fabulous job. My next question kind of touches on Pena, and it was interesting that you brought that up. And now that you talked about his experience, I'm gonna have to do a little spin on this question. So Pena, as a senior, is averaging 11 yards a pass and nearly 5 yards a carry. What has it? I mean, how's it been watching him develop? And here's where I got to twist it up, because you said he's only had 7 total games now. So where do you, I tell you what, let me put this spin on it. I mean, where do you see him, where do you see him going from here? I mean, is the ceiling higher than what he's showing right now? I mean, what's the rest of the year going to look like for your quarterback?
Man, I'll tell you, we're just scratching the surface still. You talk about a leader, somebody who wants to do things right. Oh, sorry. Somebody who does things right. First one here, last one to leave, watches the film, extra workouts. He's the epitome of a warrior. He's somebody that he wants to win. He wants to do what it takes to win. And he's had his struggles. He had his bump in the road. I mean, I think he had 5 turnovers against San Diego. And it was a struggle. But to see that kid handle his adversity and put together a few good weeks, and even last week, the way he managed the game, took care of the ball, made really smart decisions, that's a kid who understands his role and what he needs to do for us to be successful. And I think, like I said, we're just scratching the surface. He's getting more and more comfortable. He's really starting to understand the system, the timing of the routes and when the ball needs to be out. He's a heck of a runner. He's not afraid to put his shoulder down to get those extra 3, 4, and 5 yards. And I just think as we continue on in this season, he's just going to continue to flourish.
Yeah. I see that too. I mean, I've watched tape on him, and he looks great. He looks great on film. So all the other questions, we've kind of touched on them already. The last one I got is, I'm not sure how you're gonna feel about this one. Are your boys poised right now? After getting that big win, do you get a sense that they're ready to make this run and run at the playoffs right now?
Oh, they are. Matter of fact, before the pregame speech against Rio Hondo was about turning the corner. These kids have, like I said, there's kind of steps you take when you're trying to, rebuild the program. And, that first step is you're trying to create your culture and build your foundation on what you want your values to be. And sometimes that means, you get your butt kicked because you may run off some, you may not. And then you take that next step to where you become competitive. And I felt, especially early in the season, that's where we've been. We've been on that next step. And it's just now, how do we take that extra step to where we start winning? And I think I'm hoping, we turned that corner this past week, man. We played a full 4-quarter ball game against Rio Hondo, both sides of the ball. We had, our offense scored, our defense scored, and special teams scored. So being able to create that, our kids realize that for us to be successful, we got to be solid on all ends of the game. And like I said, going out there today, man, these guys are ready. They're itching at it. They want more now. And that's what, you hope that they gain from that experience is, it's hard to win a ball game at any level, regardless of what level you play. And so now they're starting to figure out what it takes to get there. I know it's 1, but sometimes that 1, can turn into 2, which can turn into 3. And you know how that can go as far as momentum and all that happens.
Yeah. Well, Coach, again, you got a fan over here. I'm watching you and I'm enjoying what I'm watching. And like I said, you're doing great things out there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you succeed and bring that program up and continue to build them and see how far you guys can get. So, congratulations, congratulations, man, on the rest of good luck on the rest of your season, should I say. Tony?
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right. So kind of what Steve said, and he just touched on it a little bit. So I want to just clarify. He talked about how how we picked who was going to make the playoffs. This is just something that we did for our district.
And I don't put
And
numbers on nothing over there.
no,
Johnny.
So
I didn't put numbers on nothing.
he was the only one slotted to that had West Oso slotted for the playoffs. But before district play, we had a final pick, and I tell you that me, Gabriel, and Steve all have West Oso making the playoffs now.
That's right. That's right.
So, and I did the math. You were 0-4 when we made that pick, but you just got to beat the 3 Valley teams, which I think is doable, and you got to beat Robstown, and then you're in the playoffs. You know what I mean? That Sinton game wasn't great, but Sinton's a damn good football team. You know what I mean? So, but I seen the competitiveness of the Bears. I mean, they played 4 teams. 2 of them are still undefeated right now. You know what I mean? Odom and San Diego, and they played well in those games. So, I think
lost a close one to Taft, right? They lost a close one.
I think West Oso's played quality football teams. You know what I mean? And when we looked at the Valley schools, we did some research, and we don't feel that they did to prepare them for the district that they're getting into, and they haven't been in this district yet. And West Oso's already seen Sinton and Rockport and Ingleside before, so y'all know what to expect. But I think y'all are gonna do well against the Valley schools. I think you got Rapstown in the bag. Sinton's a big game. Sinton, if you could pull Sinton off, I mean,
Ingleside.
like we said, Ingleside. I'm sorry, yeah, Ingleside's a big game. So I'm really looking forward.
Hey, T, Coach Smitty's saying, hey, man, I'm coming after Ingleside and Rockport, baby.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Smitty,
Ingleside.
hey,
You see him lean back.
back.
You see him lean back like this. He leaned back.
Hey, Ingleside's first.
I'm getting the Valley. That's what he's saying. He said, I'm getting the Valley. I'm coming after Rockport and
Take one of y'all motherfuckers too.
Yeah, I'm working my way up to that. The first is Ingleside. Sinton's done. That's history already. You know what I'm saying? No looking back. You got Ingleside Friday night, you know what I mean? And I'm looking forward to seeing what the boys could do, you know what I mean? Every game that they've played has been competitive, you know what I mean? So, they go out there and play 4 quarters and anything could happen. So I'm looking forward to that. So I just wanted to clarify that 3 of us have West Oso making the playoffs now. So, because he didn't say that and I didn't want him to think that we didn't believe in y'all.
That's right. I got them. I've got them in. Before Tony starts, Coach, we seen you. That 0-4 start didn't change it because we were watching what you guys were doing, and it was just a matter of putting 4 quarters together. And once that happened, we knew what this team could do because that's why the games were being lost because it was just a fact of putting 4 quarters together. And then you did that at Raymondville, in Rio Hondo, and like you said. One win, guys start feeling, start getting confidence, and who knows what can happen. So, yeah, absolutely.
And that was on the road too, right? You had to go down there, right?
That was actually here. Yeah,
was at home.
Rio Hondo came.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way,
it's just a weird day.
All right. So I got 3 questions for you. Oh, so we already kind of talked about that, so I'm not going to do that one. Okay, so in every loss this season, West Oso was competitive in each of those games. In the season opener versus Odom, you all don't score in the first half. Let me see. Oh, y'all don't score until the second half. So basically, it became y'all match point for point versus Odom in the second half, but Odom put up 14 in the first half. And that was the difference in that game. You know what I mean? So, y'all came out, y'all got shut out in the first half and they came and matched them point for point in the second half. So then versus Taft, you come out, you go to halftime with the lead, 28-19 lead, and then you don't score in the second half. So, and you answered this question, but I just want you to elaborate on it. Do you feel that your boys have played 4 quarters of football Yeah. So do you feel? Now I know you said that. I know you said that already. But so did you see what I'm seeing? Because like I said, I'm just looking at stats. I'm looking at scores. Quarter for quarter. And from what I'm seeing, like I said, West Oso been competitive in every game. But versus Odom, they didn't show up in the first half, but in the second half they came out playing. And then versus Taft, you get the early lead. And then, in the second half gets shut out. So did you see the same thing that I saw? I mean, do you feel like the team kind of struggled to put 4 quarters together? Do you feel like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Just kind of elaborate, and you know, you said it in Rio Hondo, y'all were clicking on all cylinders. So just kind of talk about those games and what you thought was
Yeah, definitely against Odom. You know, we started out a little shaky. You know, we had a lot of guys starting in new positions, and like I said, the experience kind of hit us early. You know, the kids just had to get the jitters out of them. Halftime, we came out that first drive, went down and scored. Actually got a stop. You know, made it competitive, and with 6 minutes left, we scored to make it 28-20. And then Coach Huerta and them, they did a heck of a job. They played clock control, and they took the time all the way down to 34 seconds and scored to really put the game out of reach. Then when we get to Taft, we come out, offense is firing. You know, defense, they had their moments. And then in the second half, we allowed turnovers that kind of dictate the game. And that's kind of one of the things, you know, I talked about, you know, with our quarterback play is the second half, I think we had 3 turnovers, which allowed them chances. They even scored off of high snap on a punt to put it at the game out of reach. We were down by 3 with the ball. We make a big play, holding call, and then we have to punt, and we snap it over the head, and, you know, they score a touchdown off of it, and it puts it down by 10 or whatever. And that's what really lost us the game there. And against San Diego, same thing. We're actually up by 10, I believe, going into the fourth, but we had 5 turnovers that game. I mean, if we take care of the ball, we're talking difference in 2 of those games right there. And that's one thing that we've done a little bit better the last 2 weeks is really take care of the ball. Last week, we won the turnover battle. I believe it was 6-0. And it obviously makes a big difference. Our defense is flying around, like I said, becoming more physical now. And then our offense, like I said, Tony's really starting to be that general that you want. He's really taking the head of it and understanding that for us to be successful, he's got to be smart with the football. And what he found out is he becomes successful when he is smart with the football. So I just think it's just going to continue to help us as the season continues on.
And I said you brought him up, and I know Steve brought him up a little while ago too about Pena. But I mean, between passing and rushing, he's already got over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So he's having a heck of a season. You know what I mean? He's got 8 TDs in the air, 3 TDs on the ground. I mean, he's putting up some pretty good numbers. So you know what I mean? I look forward to seeing what he does the rest of the season. Last question I got has to do with the game Friday. What do the Bears need to focus on this week to prepare for a very good Ingleside team who is still undefeated this Friday? What do you feel y'all got to do? I know you talked about taking care of the ball, but as far as Ingleside, do you feel like you need to stop their attack, rushing, passing? I mean, what are y'all keying in on for Ingleside? What do you feel your boys got to come out here and execute to win that game Friday?
I mean, Coach Hamrick's done a heck of a job over at Ingleside. And I'll tell you what, he's got them playing hard. And, you know, you can tell that, you know, they've had success and they're playing that way. And the main thing we got to focus on is our discipline because of the, you know, the slot tees and things like that. We have to be disciplined on defense to really, you know, stop their run because that's what they do well. And if we can be disciplined on defense and take, you know, advantage of some things on their offensive or on our offensive side, then you know, who knows what could happen. It's going to be a fun game. It's going to be competitive. I really think that our kids are up for the challenge. I do know that he's got a good team, a good squad. So I'm expecting it to be a fun one Friday night.
Are they coming to West Oso, or y'all coming to Ingleside?
We'll be in Ingleside.
Be in Ingleside? All right. Well, Coach, that's all I got. I just want to say again, thank you for coming on, and good luck this Friday. You know, those, like I said, those Bears. I mean, you know, they need to not look at that record because, like I said, I mean, from a fan from the outside looking in, you know, I seen the competitive ball y'all are playing, and I feel like y'all are gonna be successful this season, and you know that quarterback is gonna continue to grow and get better, and so is the rest of that team. So. That's all I got. Gabriel?
Thanks,
Coach, I
Tony.
do got one question, and then we'll get you out of here. I'm just interested in the times, these guys are working hard and they're not getting the victories and they're losing. As a coach, what were you seeing from your players? Because most guys say, the season's over. I mean, we're just not winning. They can get very down and quit. And that's not what happened. That's not what we saw. Obviously, you're there with your guys every day. As a coach, what were you seeing with your guys when they couldn't get it? They couldn't get that win until last week. And what was the attitude like? What was it like there in West Oso when they were so close yet, they couldn't get over the hump until this past week?
I mean, there was hurt. These guys, they had a heck of an offseason, a heck of a summer. And that's what we try to preach. Just because you've worked hard, it doesn't mean it's going to be given to you. And you got to go out and earn it. And, we had those 3 close ball games where we had to earn it and we didn't. It wasn't given to us. And so those guys, when we got to that point, we knew, especially going into this week, it's just we got to treat it like playoffs. We knew this was one of those games that we need to win. And we were hoping that those kids would have that mindset, and man, they came more focused this past week than they had the entire season. They were just as hungry as a coach. They wanted to be frustrated because they knew they were better than our record. And that's, it's hard to always preach, man, we're better than what we are, but that's what they see, just like what y'all do, and they hear that outside noise. But like you guys said, you're not here and you don't feel what these guys are feeling, or you don't see what these guys are doing. And man, they've been grinding. They're here in workouts every morning. They're making sure they're getting their extra lifts, and they're doing the steps it takes to be successful. And I'm hoping that, they saw that start to come to fruition and they just continue to let that blossom. And, we roll off and have a great second half of the year.
Yep.
Coach, I got to ask you, is your quarterback, is he a senior this year?
Senior.
Yes, he is senior.
So, guys, I like to take a drive down there before the regular season ends and interview you again and him. Is that something that's possible?
Absolutely.
Get down to go down to your practice field. I like to get an interview with him and you shortly before the regular season. I'll send you an email, Coach. I like to get your quarterback on and give him a chance to talk about the season and the work out because that's what we do here on the Gridiron. We want to, the programs, we want to be able to bring the guys out and talk about your program, talk about your players. There's a lot of players, we're not there, so we don't really see the work that they put in until, you see them on the field and they're good, but what did it take to get there, and to start. And, now, you started off, kind of rough, but you always kind of knew, like we knew West Oso's coming. Like we knew here on the Gridiron, like, yeah, they're not winning, but we know they're coming. You can just feel it and get your first win last week. And here you are right in the middle of everything. You're in the thick of things, and you got a good opportunity to put West Oso in the playoffs. And so, Coach, from the Gridiron, man, we want to wish you all the luck. I know that we pick you a lot here on the Gridiron. The guys really support you, but when you play Rockport, we got to go with our Pirates, right? But outside of that, man, we wish you all the luck. I like it. We like the competition. You get Ingleside, West Oso, Rockport, and Sinton with those Valley teams, and that's what makes Coastal Bend football really interesting. And I think you guys are coming up there this year, and then watch out next year, Coach. So I want to just kind of, wish you good luck, and we hope to see you in the playoffs. And I'll be down there, I'll send you an email and see when's a good time to be able to go down to West Oso. I'll go down there and interview with you and your quarterback, Coach. So thank you very much for taking some time out to spend here with us, and good luck on Friday. You are our game of the week, if you didn't know. So yeah, we have 9 scheduled. We have a state game, and we all pick, and so your game of the week. So means we'll be talking about you a lot. And Coach, you can tonight we'll upload this video. You can go to YouTube and just hit GT Sports, and you'll see a big old logo in black and gold. This is GT Sports. You'll see my picture on there, and it should be up by about 10 o'clock. So let your parents know, let the boys know if they want to get in, they can just go in and check it out. It'll be there at 10 o'clock or first thing tomorrow morning. So, Coach, thank you very much. I'll give you the last words. Is there anything you want to say before we let you go?
I appreciate you guys for having me. I think it's awesome that you guys give us the opportunity, kind of, talk about our programs, promote our programs, and obviously I appreciate you, wanting to get our kids involved. I love the fact that you guys want to promote this area and the kids that we got, because I don't think they get promoted enough.
No.
And, just because we're South Texas or whatever it may be. So I really do appreciate you guys. My hat's off to you all. Know that, this is kind of a, hobby and all that to you guys. So I know you guys are putting in a lot of time outside of your regular, life. And man, I really appreciate you guys for doing that. And I look forward to, talk with you guys down the road. Hopefully it's about a playoff game or something of that.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, Coach. And again, just GT Sports on YouTube. If you want to check it out, it should be up late tonight or early tomorrow. Till then, Coach, we'll be sending you an email. We'll be going down to West Oso sometime before the regular season ends. And once again, from the Gridiron, good luck on Friday when you take on Ingleside.
Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Coach. Take a little break, guys. Hey, that was a great interview with Coach Smithey. I've been following him on Twitter last year, and I'd never talked to him, and somebody told me he was from Rockport. But hey, man, he's got those boys playing good, guys. I mean, listen. It'll be a tough game between them, but I'm after talking to Coach, man, I don't know. Coach Steve, Tony, Johnny, West Oso, man, he's got those boys playing good. We had seen that they just hadn't put 4 quarters together, but with that quarterback now bringing a little bit more attention to West Oso and what he's done already, and he's still got a couple of games to go. Hey, this team could very well be in the playoffs, and that would be huge for West Oso, and going into the next year. So before we just kind of take a break, anything else you guys want to add about, getting in?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I started to put you guys under pressure and make y'all make a pick right there in front of Coach Smithey. It's like, all right, who's winning? Who's losing? Ingleside, West Oso, make your pick right now.
Hey, listen, I think it's going to be it's going to be more competitive. If West Oso can play 4 quarters, the game will be interesting. Be very interesting, but because I think Coach Hamrick has obviously the upper advantage, right? He has the advantage because he's been at that program longer. But if West Oso doesn't turn the ball over and they play 4 quarters, it becomes very interesting. So if I could go to that game, man, I'd go. Of course, we've got to go stream the Rockport game, but I think it's going to be pretty good. And, if West Oso doesn't win, but if they're competitive with Ingleside, watch out for these guys because, we're looking. Coach Smitty's saying, hey, I mean, they've got nothing to lose, guys. They got nothing to lose and everything to gain. So you just go out there, play free and play. But I think he's got them playing good. He said that this week everybody was upbeat after that first win, and we all know here that one win can lead to another one. Builds that confidence. That quarterback that they have down there seems like he's a leader and he can get it going. So you got to be on the lookout for that, guys. So let's take a 5-minute break, guys. Then we come back on, and then we'll do part 2 and 3 tonight. We'll try to get through as quick as we can because tomorrow, like I said, I want to go down there and stream the Rockport Lady Pirates game against Miller. So take a 5-minute break. We'll come back on, guys, and then we'll do a part 2 and 3 breakdown and preview.